Hello, welcome everybody at the fifth episode of the IoT Burstcast. Here this time with us, the founder CEO of DevicePilot, Pilgrim Beart. Welcome to the show. Can you tell a bit about yourself and what do you do?
Okay, yeah, it's great to be here. So we are a SaaS which helps connected product companies to monitor and manage their devices after they've deployed them. So this is sort of beyond R&D. This is when you're actually rolling out. Maybe you've got 1,000 devices and you're aiming at a lot more, and suddenly realize you don't really know what you've deployed, what software is it running, is it working properly, are your customers happy, are you actually delivering the service well? And that question just gets bigger and bigger as you grow from there, and that's the answer that DevicePilot can give you.
So super interesting. And on one of our conversations lately, we were discussing about how IoT needs a lot of different puzzle pieces and that we need to make sure that they fit together to act as a complete system for the end user. And that's why we have the topic from IoT silo to IoT box. So I can imagine that you need to be interoperable and integrate with a lot of different IoT technologies because you're actually making the mess that a enterprise or corporate made into something manageable and overseeable. So yeah, can you tell a bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I'm sure each of us that makes a piece of IoT sees it from our own perspective. But from our perspective, we need to ingest telemetry from the device, and there's lots of ways of doing that. The way we do that is via the cloud, but it could be through some standard cloud endpoint like AWS IoT or Azure IoT, an MQTT broker, straight from a Things Network operator that can push data into us. So there's lots and lots of different ways to get at the data, and we need to be interoperable with all of them. We just need to easily integrate with any kind of device on any kind of network. And then at the other end of the thing, we need to be able to integrate easily with day-to-day business tools. So the kinds of tools that people use to run their business, CRM tools, billing tools, job scheduling systems, those kinds of things. Those are at the heart of modern businesses. They don't understand IoT today. They can't deal with telemetry. DevicePilot can. So DevicePilot ingests telemetry, turns it into metrics like service performance or number of utilizations or whatever it is, and then can drive these business tools. So essentially, it's sort of enabling people to connect their existing business tools to their connected devices.
Interesting. So can you give, this is all abstract IoT talk, and you and I, we can get lost in that for as long as we like, but can you give a concrete example on where it is, where this really solved the problem?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of our customers are in the energy space broadly. I think lots of really interesting things happening in that space. And one of our earlier customers in particular was PodPoint, which is the UK's biggest, by some measure, EV charger, electric vehicle charging network. Mm-hmm. And they've been using us for nearly 3 years. And it's just been so interesting to kind of go on a journey with them, improving our product, but also helping them improve their business. The beginning of that journey is usually about kind of visibility, just enabling them to actually see what's going on, and areas where perhaps service isn't as good as it could be. And then once you've got that visibility, you can put a plan in place to address the different problems. You may have hardware bugs, software bugs, business process gaps where things are not being dealt with properly or quickly. You can put in place those processes, and gradually you drive up your uptime, you drive up your availability, all the metrics that you care about as a business. And then as the journey goes on, if our customer gets consolidated customers of their own, they may need to conform to SLAs, service level agreements, with those customers. So DevicePilot is the place where you can define KPIs and prove to your customer that you're delivering to their SLA.
I think what I really liked when looking at your product is that if IoT is an enabler from making a product into a service, then I think what we see also in the market, that some parties forget that service is a continuous delivery effort, and which is not in the DNA of maybe some companies that want to embrace this digital transformation from product to service. So it seems also that your you're really like that enabler as well, more on the operational side.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point. I think some companies come into IoT as product companies, that they had a disconnected product and they're an established product company. They connect their product, and to begin with, perhaps they just think it's another feature. Now you can remote control your product or whatever it is. And I think they don't always realize that actually this is the beginning of a journey which ends with them becoming a service provider. I mean, you're intrinsically a service provider as soon as you connect your product, because you have to make sure that connection works. But actually, there's a lot of benefits to being a service provider. You can forge a much closer relationship with your customer because you can see how your customers are using your product. You can make it better after you've deployed it, and it can be a fantastic sort of, and it can generate recurring revenue. So there's lots of great reasons to move from being a sort of one-off product sale to an ongoing service sale, but it does take a bit of a sort of mind shift.
Yeah, no, I think it's super interesting because if you look at a typical IoT innovation plan, it's always it's being always taken up very lightly. It's saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to make a product into a service," and then they tend to forget that the whole company and the DNA of the company is not used to provide a service. They are just super happy when a box of products leaves the company, and they basically don't want to see the box ever again, right? Because if it comes back, something is awfully wrong. So, and then like a platform that at least can support in that operational layer of becoming a service provider at all. I think that's a really nice hypothesis. So I want to leave it at that. I put in all the links below with the product demos and any fancy marketing material you have. We'll leave that up to the viewer and listener themselves to decide to click on, and then I want to thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks, Vika. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.